This is KLEAN Radio.
And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, your host here on KLEAN Radio. Glad to be with you on this Sunday night. Beautiful day in L.A., wherever you are. I guess the polar vortex is back. So up there on the East Coast, they're going to get all that snow. Andrew Spanswick is with me again. And there's a reason, because he knows everything and I don't. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Good. How are you, Pat? Great to have you here.
He's an addiction and mental illness expert. He doesn't know this, but we're having, in fact, this is a surprise to him, a little bit of an intervention for him tonight. Because
that's great. I need a few.
His beloved New Orleans Saints lost in a thriller to the San Francisco 49ers today.
Just had to rub that in, didn't you?
Well, I mean, you were
I've
upset.
been moping around all day.
When I talked to you on the phone, you were upset.
Yeah, I was upset. It's like the third game they've lost by 3 points in overtime. It's like,
Well, they never lose at home. The Saints.
It's a horrible thing being a Saints fan. I can't even begin to explain it.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm trying to just keep.
I'm worried.
I'm a little suicidal, but I'm hanging in there.
Oh,
just the football part of
What
me.
is little suicidal?
Well, it's like the part of me that likes football. I want to excise out of myself or something. I don't know.
Today's show, we have two great guests tonight, and one of them I go way back with, and I guess our show on the anniversary of the elimination of the Berlin Wall, is about breaking down barriers, and it's about getting rid of things that divide people. And this 1989, they took that wall down, and Germany came back and became a very powerful country. There's a case to be made that Japan won World War II because they surrendered, and that's kind of what we're about here. Also, yesterday is the 54th anniversary of the election of John F. Kennedy, who once said life is unfair. And it's been unfair for Tai Babilonia for a long time, not now, but for a while it was. I think he also said fame is a bitch. Oh, no, that was me that said that.
yeah.
Our first guest tonight is Tai Babilonia. Tai Babilonia, in the 70s, her and Randy Gardner were arguably the greatest pair skaters ever. They ran away with everything. In 79, they won the Worlds, and they won all the U.S. medals, and they were on track to win the gold, or at least we all said you guys were,
Yes,
to win the gold at Lake Placid in 1980, in the Winter Olympics there. And then Randy had an injury that you actually didn't know about, right?
I knew he was hurt. I didn't know the extent of the injury because he was skating okay up until, that when you saw him fall. Mm-hmm. And Randy is a skater or an athlete who never fell. If anyone fell, it was me.
Right. And just to bring people back to this time period.
Yes.
The Russians had brought back this incredible pairs couple, and there was going to be huge competition, but you guys were everything. I mean, you were...
Well, we were the world champions the year before. Rodnina and Zaitsev had taken that year off to have a baby.
Right.
So we won that year, and so after we won, and Mr. Nix, our coach, he was very clear on saying, now your work is really cut out for you. So embrace this world championship for like 3 days, and then we're going back home to work because it's going to be rough. And it was rough. And it was just a lot of outside distractions that we weren't
well,
used
fame's
to.
a bitch. We said that. And
Yes.
it was all on you, and you and Randy, obviously. But
Right.
there was such a national... And by the way, Andrew might have been surprised of my skating skills.
I was.
Earlier today.
Yes, you were doing flying leaps.
No, we did a throw waltz jump.
Right.
And it was big.
How was my performance? How was my landing?
Perfect.
Yeah, well,
It's shocking.
What do you expect?
Only perfection.
But Andrew, you could before we get to our guest who should be talking,
Right.
But you can speak to this. I mean, these are people who were put on a pedestal, and I don't think people thought you failed, but there was such a national disappointment in the fact that they couldn't compete.
Yeah, I remember the time that was quite an Olympics. I mean, with the hockey as well that year.
Oh my gosh.
Mike Eruzione has not bought a dinner or a drink yet.
Really?
Since 1980.
Mike's a great friend of mine. Yeah, but you were... Wait, how old are you?
I'm 47.
Okay.
So I was,
but a little younger.
Well, what was it like for you, though? You went into the depths of hell, right? Eventually.
After? Yes, after. But I wouldn't blame Lake Placid. It was even beyond skating. personal issues, family issues, which I'll be writing about in the book. But a lot of people think, and it's probably true, that Lake Placid triggered some things because I wasn't, not that I was lied to, I just wasn't told the truth.
By Randy.
And the coach.
Yeah.
And everyone. And so there's still, what's interesting, Pat, still to this day, Randy and I have not had that conversation, just the two of us, about that night.
Why?
I'm not sure why.
Andrew, can you explain that?
I don't know why.
I mean, it's probably avoidance, right? He probably doesn't want to deal with it or confront the issue.
And it's not for me. I guess I could bring it up, but it's more his story. But I just find that fascinating that we haven't, there's always a third person because it always comes up in interviews, but just the two of us to have that conversation, we haven't had it yet.
Well, I know you were from a policeman's family, and
Yes.
I know that you've talked about this, that when your dad is a cop, things are not spoken about. People keep things inside in that household.
Absolutely.
Is that part of it?
So cops don't snitch?
What does that mean?
Like
Cops don't
snitching?
snitch?
Like they don't talk about
No, but cops are taught
What's wrong with you?
Cops are taught to keep everything.
Drug dealers don't snitch on each other, and cops don't.
I don't know. I had a couple who did.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yes,
You had
absolutely.
A family that didn't
Yes.
allow you to
There was nothing
get your emotions
outward.
out.
And and that I kind of caught on to that. I kind of took all that in, and I'm not that kind of person. I'm one who likes to show emotion and talk about things, and don't sweep anything under the rug. So I'm sure that was also, there's so many factors in what happened in 1988 when I did crash.
And the crash came when you turned pro, right? And,
Yes, we were on the road working nonstop from 1980, from April 1980 up until I crashed in 88. We were working nonstop. We were turning down work. It was that much work. And part of the problem was I had a partner who was saying yes to everything. And I really didn't have a say in it. The manager said to do it, the agent said to do it, the partner said to do it, and I just kind of had to do it, even if I was tired. So I didn't.
Well, you were an investment, too.
Absolutely.
For the ice-capades and everybody else.
Yes, a lot of money.
Did you ever have anyone looking out for you besides yourself? You were,
No.
So you weren't really able to set boundaries at all?
No, I just kind of, it's like the train had left the station and hold on because it went. And I had a voice. I just didn't know I was allowed to use it.
So ever
as I
since you were
know
really
now.
young, was it like that? You started skating at such a young age, correct?
Yes,
So,
I started at 6 or 7. I met Randy at 8.
so when in your life were you not managed? How old when you finally...
21.
21. Wow, that's a long time.
21.
And this is a common thing, skaters especially, because
We're
they
so
start
sheltered.
they start so young, and they are captivated by their coaches and really become your parents. I'm not going to speak for you, but they tell you everything to do and
Right.
how to do it and why. And
Yes.
I've known all the skaters, and they're all the same way.
Right.
That
You
they-
do as you're told. All I had to do, and Randy, and all of us, all we had to do was skate. Everything else was taken care of us. When you're amateur, you're so sheltered. Just get out there and perform. And then all of a sudden, we signed a contract with Ice Capades, a 3-year contract for 9 months on the road. And there are no parents. There's no, I didn't know who to trust. And I just was kind of lost. And that's when the drinking started.
Yeah.
With a simple glass of wine. A simple glass of wine.
And then you started gaining weight.
Gained weight.
So then you went to the diet pills.
I went to Black Beauties. Were going around.
Black Beauties.
What?
That was
Yummy.
just pure. Isn't it,
Oh,
Andrew?
yum.
Isn't Black Beauty pure amphetamine?
It's pretty much, yeah.
It was going around in all the companies. That was the diet pill that the
with
showgirls took.
benzodiazepines to sleep.
I didn't know what was in it. I just knew, it worked.
Right.
It worked. So
Well-
that and the drinking and the whatever else I was doing, it was a horrible combination.
Yeah.
And then performing every night, sometimes 3 times a day.
Wow.
Let's put a professional look on this, because Andrew,
Okay.
and I went through this too, except I used every drug. You just
Yes.
stick to Black Beauties
Right.
and a lot of red wine. And by the way, just celebrated 6 years of sobriety, and you're
Congratulations.
right close with me, aren't you?
I'm the day before you.
Day
with
before
6
me.
years.
So while
November
you were,
4th.
yeah. So while you were getting sober,
Yes.
what's wrong with you, Jose?
What?
It's 24 hours of world record. But when you have fame, as Tai did, and you have the general public begging for her to come back and regain whatever they perceived you of gaining, and then you have controlling people, what does that do to you?
Well, I think, like we talked about, developmentally, your life was really controlled by other people until you're 21. And then at 21, you're supposed to have adult skills, and you didn't have them.
Right. There was no manual telling me how to be a professional skater.
And the expectations on you were not about you or your private life. It was about your public persona,
Yes.
which, as we
Well, it was
know
about
from
being-
most famous people, who you are in public is not who you are in private.
Well, it's the whole thing of you wake up and you, first of all, you demand, this is my story, in a business to be loved by strangers, for one thing, and you
Yes.
can't control that.
Right.
And secondly, you wake up and you don't say, I'm who I am. You say, I am who they want me to be.
Right.
And that's the problem. So now you're taking pills and now you're drinking
every night.
And how did that spiral? You said it worked, and I think Andrew and I talked about this last week. A drink does work.
Yeah,
we don't suggest you do it, but
Well, certainly when you start off, and that's what's so attractive about drugs and alcohol, is that they do work for a little while for some people. And some people, they drink and they can't tolerate it, or they are scared of it and they don't use it. But people that are alcoholic or drug addicts, they tend to have that moment where they recognize that what they're using actually works for them for a little while. It stops them from feeling pain. And they start trying to cover up that pain, but eventually, unfortunately, the drugs and the alcohol get more painful than the pain they're trying to cover up. Then you have the pain from the addiction, and you still have all the underlying pain from before. So it becomes very, very complex to sort all that out.
So how did you sort it out? First of all, were you doing Courvoisier or cognac?
Eventually.
Yeah. Didn't you skate once on Courvoisier?
More than
telling a
once.
secret?
Yeah, and I was pretty functional. I mean, I could.
How do you think I knew that?
You saw the movie or something?
No,
don't
I didn't
know.
see the movie.
You read the People magazine, something. I
No.
don't know. How'd you know that?
I think I gave you the Courvoisier. No, I'm joking. But so how did you break through it?
How did I break through it?
Yeah, the drinking and the pills. I mean, you obviously you came out of it.
Well, it escalated. Like I said, in 1988, I was actually said I was going to quit skating, which I knew darn well I had nothing to fall back on, and all I kind of did was skate. But it was a dramatic move, and once I said that, crap hit the fan.
Yeah.
Because everyone's job was in jeopardy once I said this. So everyone was miserable, and I just said, you know what, I got to go. I'm out. So I hightailed it to Santa Barbara, which we were just talking about.
Not a bad place to go.
Not a bad place to go.
Montecito or Santa Barbara?
Yeah, actually Montecito, in a
Maybe
little
not.
hotel on Coach Village, whatever that street is. And I took my skates, and I threw away my skates in Montecito.
There's not a lot of ice up there.
No, I didn't. I was done with skating. I was
Yeah.
done. This was me saying I'm done. So I came back home and told everyone, and my manager, just said, get a new pair because you have a tour to do. So I somehow got through this tour, but drinking before the performances and drinking after, and I was spiraling
Yeah, I was
out of
yeah.
control, and the mood swings and the emotions were just, I don't know how Randy did it. God love him.
Well,
But
who was there for you then? If Randy
no
was.
one, because I didn't share whatever I was going through. I didn't share it with anyone. I thought I could handle it myself.
Yeah, that's common. People feel they have this moral responsibility to sort of,
And I was afraid to say I
hold
was
on to
tired.
their own problems and not share them.
Right. I was
And
afraid to say I'm tired, and it just.
it sounds like also you were in a position where people were really your friends. Like I might know myself, like one of my first companies that I had, I thought all these people were my friends. And then when that company went away, like maybe 2 people were still my friends. Because really they were my
Right.
friends because they wanted to work for me and they wanted the job. But,
Right.
and they were dependent on me to keep the company going for them to get paid. So,
Yeah. No, I had friends. I guess I didn't know who to trust. And like I said, I thought I could handle everything myself. And obviously I couldn't. So I came home, got through the tour, and fell through the cracks and tried to take my life. It's all documented. And
Yeah, the
the
bottle of
little-
pills, right?
sleeping pills and Courvoisier.
Yeah.
And the light went on as I was in the ambulance getting my stomach pumped. The light, something clicked
Right.
and said, you have a voice, start using it. And after that, everything changed because I started using my voice.
Tai Babilonia is our guest, one of the most famous and popular skaters ever, still is.
Thank you.
And still on tour, right? Aren't you?
No, not on tour, but still skating. Randy and I are into our 46th year together.
Oh.
It's ironic that one of your best moves was the death spiral, so in pairs. So
We had a good one.
yeah, you did.
Yes.
Keep that head right by the
Close
knee,
to the
right?
ice.
Close to the ice,
Yes.
right? You can call us at 800-222-5222. It sounds like a New York taxi number, but it's 800-222-5222. KLEANradio.com. You can stream us on there. Or Facebook.com/CleanRadio. You can share your tips, by the way, for getting sober or staying sober in the holidays. And are we really going to do this other one? Post your questions for Ask Pat O'Brien Anything.
I like that. Anything.
Anything.
All right, fine. I'm a big boy.
That's
and
right.
we'll read them on the air.
Ooh.
And, we all know about the voice. Just ease up. But
Be nice.
no, yeah, I don't care. I'm fine now. So how did you? So now we're at the point where you're a big girl.
Yes.
I'm
Big girl with a voice, a little voice.
Yeah, I'm interested in this whole concept. Andrew, you can help us, and then we'll let Ty talk about it, because I had somebody call me today and said they read my book, and they said, I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you when you were going through all this.
Yeah.
I got some of that too.
Yeah, but people, are you saying that people don't notice this, or they just don't want to get involved?
I think like a lot of illnesses, not just alcoholism, people are afraid. Like if people are dying or sick, people don't want to go around them, even if they're good friends with them. And they'll call and they'll say they want to come around or they want to do something, but really they're nervous and scared. And the other thing you see with addicts is a lot of people are angry. They're angry that the person's an addict and that they're out of control, and that
they think it's a moral issue.
They think it's a moral deficit, and
Right.
they don't know how
They
to
don't
help them, and they're so
understand.
frustrated, and they don't understand the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the show's about, is trying to show people that the behavior is really the drugs and how it's affecting the person, and once they get better, they'll return to being more normal.
How about other skaters? They never said, "Are you okay?"
Not
Anybody
even my
on the
partner.
tour?
No one.
So everybody,
After
it's interesting how everybody is in denial, right? The whole system of
Right.
people you were with were in denial about your problem.
I think because money played a huge factor.
Yeah.
It's
Well, we see that a lot with famous people,
Because
right?
they made money off of
Yes,
you. Yeah.
Ty and Randy were bringing in the money, and once part of the team kind of fell through the cracks, that was trouble.
One of the greatest stories, and first of all, he also broke the racial barrier, right?
Yes, I did.
In
Yes.
skating, and skaters
Nice.
are so messed up.
Wait a minute. Pat.
No, I don't mean it that way.
Don't say it like
Okay, let me say it another way.
we're complicated.
They're a complicated group.
Yes.
Tanya Harding,
Beyond complicated.
right. Oksana Bayul went through some stuff. She's okay now.
Yeah.
Christopher Bowman, our friend,
Yes.
ended up bloated and
And he's not with us.
alone in a hotel room, some cheap hotel room, and died. I was
Yes.
so sad that night when I heard that.
Oh, it's
And you can
horrible.
go down, and there's something about that sport that is it because, and I've done 8 Olympics, it's because we put we put our Olympic athletes on a pedestal that's impossible to stand on.
Well, I'm not blaming you, but I think it's it's just part of it. There's a part of, we want the press. You have to have some of that press. I think, and I still see it now, I think like before the Olympic Games or before a big competition, the big networks have you winning before you even get there. Randy and I got a taste of it in Lake Placid. And it's so much pressure to see yourself on magazine covers, and they have you winning the gold before we even get there. It's like, and you just you put your blinders on. It's so unfair because they're not in our shoes. We just want to skate well, and whatever happens is going to happen. But don't give us a gold medal before we get there. That's way too much pressure.
And that's the problem, too, with skating. You only have kind of one chance. You spend your whole life training for it. I remember Victor Petrenko, who was supposed to win in Paris, and I followed this guy around in Russia for 30 days.
Right.
And we did this big, long feature on him, and he fell on his second jump. I'm saying to myself, there goes 30 days of my life in Russia. But, I mean, you make one little mistake,
Yes.
and bang, that's
yeah.
it.
It's intense. It's kind of a do or die situation. But I love it, and I have no regrets. I'm not bitter. I own all of my mistakes, as you do.
Good for you. Yeah.
I'm not blaming anyone, not one person.
Regrets?
None.
Yeah. Good for you.
None.
Because you know what? If you have regrets, Andrew, that's what got you to this spot. So it's like Back to the Future. You wouldn't really change anything because what would you change?
Yeah, and it's pointless to look back unless you're looking back to figure out ways to improve things. So if you're just looking back to ruminate about the past and live in the past, that's just nothing positive for you or for anyone around you.
Right.
So it's important to be thoughtful about your past, but also to use your experience to create a better future.
Yes.
And now that you're clean and good and
Yes.
out of it, how has the response been? I mean, I'm so proud of you.
Amazing.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Pat. As I am proud of you. Amazing, because I say I'm loud and proud about it. There's nothing anonymous about me and my sobriety, and I like it that way because everything else in my life has been shared. All my problems have been documented. So why keep this a secret? So
And that's why you're writing a book, right?
Yes, and I'll post something on Facebook or tweet about it, and people go nuts. They love it, and that helps me because
It validates you a little bit, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and for the first time, I'm proud of myself for doing something right. This is huge for me. The Olympics were great. This is better.
Boy, that picture of you skating off the ice, crying in
Lake
1980.
Placid.
Yeah, that's just heartbreaking.
It was a rough
A
night.
lifetime
More for
of-
my partner.
Yeah.
It was a rough night. But that's in a crazy way, and I talk about this so much. It put us on the map in a different light, and we embraced. Or everyone.
Well, what was a
embraced
different
us.
light? It wasn't feeling sorry for you, or was
No,
it?
but people saw that we were human.
Yeah. Okay.
People
there you
saw
go.
that someone's muscle didn't work the way it was supposed to.
We had a shot of
Xylocaine.
in his leg.
And it deadened the pain, but if you see the footage, his whole leg
Gave out,
collapses.
yeah.
So it went through his whole leg, and he couldn't feel his leg.
Just numb, just
Completely
like,
numb.
Yeah.
So,
and these poor Olympic,
very lucky.
These Olympic athletes, and Andrew, again, that's something. It's not like LeBron James or Michael Jordan who sat out 6 years. The Olympics, you got like one shot.
Yep.
And, unless you start really old, Michael Phelps is the same thing right now. He's in rehab now and trying to get his
right.
life back together.
Yeah.
Because the fame, who said fame is a bitch? Was that me or was it Thomas Jefferson?
You said it a couple of times. I can't
We're
even.
just going to credit to you because, why not?
But, I mean,
Yeah.
that's, there's, Andrew, speak to that because there's so many elements and layers to this.
I think everything's a dual-edged sword with fame. It's the reason you wanted it first probably isn't what you expected it to be. And once you're in it, then you can't get out of it. And a lot of people don't realize when you're famous, it's really hard just to take a break. You can't just stop doing what you're doing and disappear unless you're isolating.
Not in Hollywood.
Yeah, unless you're isolating. And then that's a very dangerous place where you're just stuck in a motel room alone by yourself and trying to entertain yourself and drinking.
Plus the travel and being alone
Yep.
at night.
And trying to make your sleep cycle work, that's very difficult.
It's very rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that's why I can relate to. I have a lot of musician friends, a lot of comedian friends, and that's it's like we have this one thing in common, and to perform every night and be good every day.
Yeah, not even know where you are sometimes.
And not even I used to have to look at the key or look at the station. It's like, what city am I in? Or look out, be on a plane, not even knowing where I'm going.
Yeah.
But
And you have to have somebody to, I'm in a relationship now, I have somebody who centers me.
Right.
And you have to have somebody that calls you on your BS and somebody
Yes.
that says, what's wrong with you? I'm not sure I like it, but
right,
it's got to be there.
it helps. It helps.
Tai Babilonia is our guest. What if your name would have been Sherry Jones?
I don't know.
Sherry
Sherry and
Jones.
Randy.
Sherry Jones.
Sherry Jones and Randy Gardner.
Tai Babilonia.
I love my name.
The great, so do I.
Thank you.
That's a very cool
The great
name.
Tai Babilonia, and we'll continue our conversation with her. We'll be joined by Lauri Burns, who has done a lot for young people. She has almost single-handedly brought a teen project forward and has helped a lot of people. And she's going to join us, and Tai will stay with us, and
Yes.
we'll be back here on KLEAN Radio right after this.
I'm so carefree with the joy
Are you addicted to drugs or alcohol, but unable to commit to an inpatient rehab stay? Introducing KLEAN Treatment Center's Outpatient Treatment. This drug and alcohol treatment program is designed specifically for the working professional. Don't let your commitments of running a business, taking care of a child, or maintaining your college classes get in the way of your recovery from addiction. With daytime, evening, or individualized programs, KLEAN's Outpatient Treatment will fit your life. Call now for a free screening. Professional guidance is standing by.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for joining the KLEAN Radio channel. Be sure to subscribe and get weekly episodes and clips. And comment, like or dislike, whatever. Be nice. We respond to everything.
Now back to Los Angeles. This is KLEAN Radio.
And here we are. I'm Pat O'Brien along with Andrew Spanswick, who's over his New Orleans. New Orleans Saints. All right, slow down here.
I'm not over it. Don't say I'm over it. I'm still trying to use my best coping skills.
Got beat in a thriller today by the 49ers.
It was not thrilling.
My Giants
right.
lost as well. But that's okay. Buddy Totten, Tai Babilonia is our guest. Lauri Burns is coming up. Buddy Totten, in relation to the guy who was a quarterback at Mississippi Valley State?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. What do you got for social media?
All right. Well, we posted Ask Pat O'Brien, whatever you like.
Oh, I like this.
All right. So we have Rob from Calabasas wants to know how you survived your first sober holiday.
I didn't drink, for one thing. And I didn't really, the obsession for alcohol, thank God, left me. And so I am able still to go to bars and hang out with people. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons I don't drink is because I remember the consequences.
Right.
And I had horrible consequences. You know why? Because I almost died. Mm. And it's not just one drink with an alcoholic. But I just stuck to my guns. And I don't even think, I think my first reaction was when I got sober, or had to, was, oh no, I can't go to Italy now. You know?
Right.
Fear wine.
Of, like, or why would you go, right? Like
Days of Wine and Roses.
That's the next one.
Ravi from Chicago wants to know what's your inspiration to stay sober and what advice can you give to people who are still struggling?
I have people around me who count on me. I mentioned one. My son counts on me. Friends now count on me. People that Andrew counts on me. People that work here count on me. And so I value that. But also, I didn't get sober for anybody but myself. And I think that's what you have to do, right, Andrew, at the very end.
Absolutely.
If you're out there and you think that you're going to do something for someone else, you're going to fail. Because at the end of the day, it's you and your brain alone at the end of the day. And if you don't have something going on where you're working out those issues and where you have people that you can reach out to talk to and really develop a way to change your life and change what you think about and who you hang out with, you can't do it on your own. It's impossible. We're social animals at the heart of it. And if we don't have a good community base around us and a good fellowship of people that we believe in, it's really tough to function.
And I'm just starting to now, 6 years in, get rid of the resentments. I mean, I hated the people I worked for at the Insider.
Right.
Hate. Yeah, I did. And I really loathe some of the sportscasters I work with on Fox Sports Radio,
Sure.
who call me a drunk on the air and make fun of me if I went to a meeting in the black community.
Right.
But I'm getting over that. I'm getting over that, and I admit that because you have to talk about that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it. Boy, pretty lame.
Something more salacious. Like, I got a question for you. No, Pat.
My life's an open book.
I can't wait to read the book.
Quite literally.
Want to take this call?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk to Maureen from Los Angeles. Maureen,
Thanks, buddy.
All right, you're welcome.
Maureen, welcome to KLEAN Radio. How are you? Maureen, are you there? You're on the air.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, go ahead.
I have a comment on you guys said that nobody reached out to you guys. My son reached out to his friend, and the friend was not happy about it, about an addiction.
Yeah, that's very common. It's, addicts that are actively using don't want to stop generally, or if they want to stop, they're ambivalent about it, meaning they have a strong pull where they know they need to stop and they're unhealthy and they're miserable, but they also have the strong pull that they don't really see any other solution than continuing to use, and they don't know how to stop. So their brain is always tricking them into this ambivalent place where they can't make a decision. And so the only reaction they generally have is one of denial, where they deny that they even have a problem, or 2, they project the problem saying it's your fault for accusing me of having a problem, or you make me drink, things like that. And then there's also very higher level like intellectualization and rationalization, where people come up with really complex reasons about why they have to keep using. And often anger is something they'll use as a mechanism to get people to go away. And that's why you also see a lot of people being angry back at the addict, because both of them are not getting what they want, and it becomes a very contentious.
Well, they're missing
situation.
a drinking buddy too, right?
Yeah, I mean, the alcohol is the best friend of the alcoholic. And it just is. It's going to beat everybody else. And it's funny, when people first get sober and you ask them to walk up to the top of a hill to exercise, they're like, no, and you're like, well, if you were drinking and I told you there's a bar at the top of the hill, would you go up there? And they're like, I would have been there already.
Well, I find that I'm now, and I take this very seriously, I'm so present to do things now. And before, when I would procrastinate or not do them, and I have somebody with me now who makes sure that I'm present, and I like being present. I like being able to do things for other people. And speaking of that, Lauri Burns is here. Hi, Lauri. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Now, I'm great. Lauri's had quite the path as well. You were in a foster care home, right?
Several foster care homes and group homes and juvenile
And you
halls.
came out of that, became homeless. You were a prostitute for a while.
Correct.
Your life was out of control.
Yes.
And how did you break out of that? We'll talk about your project in a second. But.
Okay, well, it wasn't like I made a plan to break out. What happened was I got abducted by 2 gunmen, and it wasn't like I hadn't been in a lot of bad situations before as a street prostitute, but this night was the most horrific night I would ever experience.
What happened?
2 guys picked me up on Harbor Boulevard, which is an area that's known for prostitutes in our area in Orange County, and they took me into the woods. And I guess, a prostitute had killed someone in their gang neighborhood. So they were 2 gang members that were going to take me into the woods and kind of make do for their friend. They figured if they could kill a prostitute, they could make peace with their friend's death. So
that's some twisted thinking.
And so now you've created the project, the Teen Project,
right,
to help young women get out of the hell they might be in, give them a purpose in life.
Right.
How do you do that? And good for you, by the way, because that's the big problem. Because teenagers don't really know. I'm assuming most of them are teenagers. Don't really know what.
Teenagers,
right?
Young adults. I think we've extended adolescence to 40 in America. So.
Well,
my case is up to 60.
Yeah, you're not 60 something.
The kids that we serve are usually between 18 and 24 years old, and the reason for that is that's when they're leaving foster care, right? So I heard you talking about being someone expecting you to know everything at 21. Well, at 18, they're booted out. And these aren't even normal kids. These are kids that have never had a checking account, a savings account, a car, a cell phone.
They're there for a reason.
They're like, right. So they've never had anything, and they don't have any life skills, and then we boot them out on the street. And it started happening in like 1989. It hit the news. They were aging out 65% of the 25,000 foster kids. And here we are. We put about $11 billion into it when you look at all the money over the past 30-something years, and they're still aging out at 50%. That's our government.
Now, what is the Freehab facility?
Freehab facility actually used to be a men's facility called People in Progress. You familiar?
I'm not with that one.
Okay, so they shut down last year, and it's a 100-bed facility that we reopened for kids. And we're really licensed for boys and girls, but we started with girls because of the trafficking situation and everything going on. But we have young girls in there from foster care, from jail. We're an alternative sentencing facility. From hospitals, from the streets. We have a drop-in center in Venice. So we're just taking them in by the droves. So we've taken in 152 girls in the past 6 months since we opened the doors.
That's great.
And it's a free rehab.
Great.
And it's not just free rehab, right? Because I think sober and homeless is worse than drunk and homeless. You know what I mean?
Blaringly.
Yeah, really? Okay. So we need to train them up because these kids haven't graduated high school or anything. So we're opening a tech school next door, and we want to call it a tech career center.
Right.
And so
Well,
they're
where do you start then with these people?
Oh my God! What do you mean? Where do you
Because
start?
they come in so lost and so breathing underwater.
And how do they find you?
Everywhere. I mean, they find us from their social workers, from the judge, from the police. The police are over regularly, and the police are friends with them. You know, they're really kind of trying to mentor them at this age and be mentors to them, if you could imagine that.
Now, would this have helped you or no? If you would have had some place to go where people would counsel you, Tai.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Or let's put it this way: would you have? Because you weren't homeless, obviously.
No,
but
I had more. I had everything.
you had everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
kind of.
That's it. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're having a big gala.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, we're having a big gala this
November
weekend.
15th.
Yes, and the big gala is to raise the money for the trade school, the tech school next door. So literally in one site, the kids are going to come in homeless and walk out knowing web development, web design, SEO optimization, marketing, media.
I guess I'm hiring them all, right?
Do you know Homeboy Industries by chance?
Yeah.
Okay, Homeboy Industries, great thing, right? So they've brought in this revenue making chips to give gang members a second chance at life. So what we're doing is web development and web design for the community. So we'll do your web development for half the price. You'll be able to help homeless kids in your community, and the money will come back and fund more kids coming into it.
What was the organization? Angels of the Night? Was that one of them?
Children of the Night? Yeah, Lois, wonderful lady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We work with them.
Yeah, I did some stories on them when I was back with CBS News, and I always wondered how you get a kid off the street, a prostitute maybe, and homeless, and no parents or no direction, and how you turn them around. And I watched them get turned around over there.
I mean, a lot of this is actually court intervention, right? So they're being diverted from going to jail and going to your rehab, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's a large
some of them. I
I
want to say we have 52 girls today, and 8 of them have anklet bracelets on. Is that what you're talking about, the monitors?
Yeah.
And it makes it sound so nice when I say ankle
bracelet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anklet bracelets.
Yeah.
But the tech school, here's a real interesting thing. I was thinking about what to call it, and I said, I think I'll call it the Bite Shop, like BYTE, because there'll be sandwiches and coffee, and it'll be real retro area where
we
they can
should
work on
partner
laptops
on this a
and
little
stuff.
bit because I just started a nonprofit Clean Cafe.
Oh, yeah?
And I just bought a food truck. I had it custom built.
Oh, we
and
should
it's
do that.
and we're gonna go around and sell coffee and cold pressed juices and special kinds of foods.
Right.
And
It's
we're
called
gonna have
training table.
So, but it's a training, but it's also we're training our graduates from Clean to actually work at this truck.
Yeah,
and then
so it's the same kind of
it'll be
thing.
a drop-in
Yeah.
center as well, but it's gonna be mobile, and I'm gonna have a bunch of them eventually.
We should partner.
So great.
I got to say, on Russell's behalf, if it hadn't been for his big warehouse idea, we wouldn't have the space for the tech school. So we've got this
there you go.
huge warehouse to put the tech
Everything
school in.
works out the way it's supposed to.
So someone calls me the other day and says, my trademark guy, you can't have the Bite Shop, Lauri. The Bite Shop was the original shop that built the first 100 apples for Steve Jobs. And I think the guy wants to retain the name. Well, I found the guy in Florida. He's 72. And I told him we would like to use the name and make a museum for what you guys did to start Apple in the lobby and help homeless kids. And he was like, yes.
It's
That's
Clean
great.
Radio. I'm Pat O'Brien. Andrew Spanswick is here. And Tai Babilonia is here to tell her story, which has a happy ending, by the way. And
which we're gonna get to, right?
Yeah, we'll get to it. and Lauri Burns, who's making people happy. Her event is November 15th, and where is it? 8140 Sunset. Where is that?
It's actually Sunland. It's in Sun
Oh, I'm
Valley.
sorry, I can't read.
And Sun Valley sounds like it's on another planet, but it's right outside of Burbank. It's like 2 exits past Burbank and the 5.
It's like everything else in California. It's 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
You turn left at the Target.
Yeah.
Right? And what's going to happen? You're going to have dinner and a program, and you're going to speak, which is great.
Right. I'm going to tell my life story.
And you have a number that you have to meet
Yeah, 300. You mean the
to raise?
Yes, we need to raise about 500,000 to start the construction. Right.
And can you do it that night?
Hey, come on. We've raised 500,000 in a day. So I guess it depends on what angels are showing up that night, right?
They'll show
and
up.
people that care about the kids, yeah, we could.
Well, it's
definitely
interesting
possible.
because around the holidays, everybody has their hand out.
Yeah.
And we just finished an election where everybody spent their money on candidates. But people do still come forward, right, Time? And have you found out that there are always people out there to help others? And
Well, yes. And I was going to say, I would love to take the girls skating.
Oh, they would love
Beautiful. I mean, we can't take all. How many girls? Like,
Well, it goes
We'll
up
do
and
it
down like
in-
the stock market, depending on who's being sentenced and blah, blah, blah. But right now it's like 52.
okay. There's a beautiful rink downtown, Pershing Square, outdoor.
oh, that is
Let's
nice
go
down
skating.
Okay.
That's my gift. I don't
Yeah.
have the 500. Whatever
That is
needed,
wonderful.
But I can teach them how to
Yeah.
skate.
But you can teach them.
I would love it. get them on the ice and just
Wonderful.
have fun.
Yeah, they would
They
love
would.
that.
Oh, they'll dig it.
The girls are going to dance. They actually have a dance crew. The girls love it there. It's not only the beautiful rooms that they are so attached to, because kids in foster care don't get rooms like that. They get the same exact room, and every bed's the same, and you get a cork board where you can put pictures of your family. If you look at the rooms, they look like real beautiful
Well,
rooms.
that's a great charity item. Learn to skate with Tai Babilonia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Hey, you want to put that in the silent action?
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Okay, you got it. I've
Nothing
done
better
that.
than that.
Yeah.
Making it happen
awesome.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Pat O'Brien's
Yeah.
money-making radio.
Half hour private lesson. I've done it before. They go.
It will. It's great.
Yeah.
And also the accomplishment of being able to actually do something. And skating's hard. And
As you know.
And you fall.
And you fall and you get up, just like life.
Right.
Dust yourself
I'm still
off.
pretty impressed with my jump today.
You had he had a mean. It's a waltz jump. What you did, and
Right.
it was big.
We have several pictures of it, so it's
Taught
going
to
to
me
end
by
up
Scott
on the
Hamilton.
internet. Yeah.
Lauri, you speak all over the country. What's been the reaction to the program? And do you get a lot of parents who come up to you and say, "What do I do?" Or "I can't find my kid," or whatever?
Yeah, we get a lot of parents. We even have parents calling Freehab, and we're like, well, we're here to help homeless kids and kids that leave foster care. And they're like, I just kicked their butt out. They're homeless. I'm like, that doesn't count. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we've actually opened it up for parents that are desperate for their kids to get help and can't afford the $20,000 price tag, that will give a regular kid Freehab for $2,500 a month.
Ty, where were your parents during all this? Where were your parents?
During my
Yeah.
craziness, home worrying. And, there was really nothing they could do. I had to go through what I went through. And they,
Were they skating parents? I mean, you know
no,
what I mean?
I was so
No.
lucky. My
Yeah.
my dad was always working. He
By
was-
skating parents, I mean there are a lot of parents like Nancy Kerrigan's mom who showed up at everything, and
Yes.
a lot of these
My
parents.
mom was always there, but she wasn't. She knew her place in the rink, and in the ice rink, it was the coach and the students.
Right.
Out of the rink, it was a different story. But I was very lucky. I didn't have a skating mother.
Yeah, and on any
like a
given day,
stage
who would
mother.
you listen to more, your coach or your dad?
Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Dad was always working, making the money for me to skate.
Have a coach.
Yeah.
And that's that's
very expensive.
Well, yeah, it's also emotionally expensive, right? Too, Andrew,
Absolutely.
because you
Yes.
have somebody that's supposed to be looking after you. And I'm not ripping
Right.
your dad,
Right.
but then they sort of turn you over to somebody who does look out for you,
Right.
and just hope that this person that they've turned you over to does the right thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you trust.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great coaches out there, but their job
A lot
is
of
to get
bad
you to be.
ones too, by the
yeah,
way.
there's a lot of bad, but the goal is to make you learn how to skate, not how to grow up, and those are two different things. And so, some coaches are often seen as the mentors for development and youth in football, but really, that isn't where you should be getting all your lessons in life. There's valuable things to learn through sports and athletics.
Oh my gosh,
but
I've learned
there's
so much
But
through
there's so much to learn also besides that, and I think it's about balance. And you started skating so young, and that's all you did. So how much balance could you have? There was no
My
place.
balance was pretty good on the ice. Yeah. It's on the cement I had problems.
Yeah.
I remember I was
Yeah.
in Odessa in the Soviet Union in Russia, and I was visiting Viktor Petrenko, the great skater, and we were at his gym, which was Russian controlled. And I remember his coach, I forget her name, but
Galina.
yes. And she's pointed over to this other rink and said, "See that little girl there?" And she was about 10. You started when you were 9, right? Or something like that?
I started when I was 7.
All right.
Met Randy at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that area, I try to never be wrong, so I could just sort of
That's such an
estimate it.
incredibly young age. I mean,
Yeah. But they showed me this little girl who was like 9 years old. They said she's going to be the next big star, and it was Oksana Bayul.
wow.
And there she was
right.
by herself, just skating around and doing all that.
Very talented.
When you come out of this gala, Lauri Burns, how do you keep the movement going? It's so hard when you start a movement, especially one where you always need money, you always
Right.
need help, you always need resources, you always need people like Ty who come in and will give. How do you keep that going?
I mean, I work 24/7. Anyone that knows me knows that I sleep, maybe 6 hours a night, and I'm working from morning till night trying to engage people. We had Maroon 5 over there. They decorated an apartment. We had Access Hollywood there, decorated the room. We have a lot of people engaged, and it's just, getting people through to see the place and meet the girls. The girls are amazing and so absolutely grateful.
Tell me some success stories.
Yeah, so Janelle was one of the first kids we took in. Now, for anyone that doesn't know me, after I got abducted and all that and got sober, I became a foster mom. So I've been a foster mom to 31 kids, get my 32nd kid, new boy tomorrow.
Wow.
And I started the teen project with all kinds of programs, and our first girl we ever took in that was homeless wanted to be a doctor because she was hit by a car when she was walking across the street alone at age 6, and she just got accepted to Loma Linda University, where she's going to finish her education, and she'll be a Dr. Garcia in 3.5 years.
Wow.
We've got a little girl that was walking around with a picture of Fitum that she had ripped out of the paper when she was like 12, and she carried it with her whole foster care experience. She is now a designer at BCBG. So we've got a lot of kids that are doing really well that had given up on their dreams. I mean, what we do is we take a kid, sit them down in a room and go, what did you dream about before you decided you couldn't have dreams because you knew you were going to be homeless? And the tears just start to roll because they get that they're really going to be able to have a life, because they've kind of given up on that when they realized, okay, do you know what it's like, guys, to be laying on the street night after night on the cold sidewalk knowing nobody's looking for you? I mean, a normal person would know, like maybe my mom or my dad or my uncle is looking for me. These kids know that nobody's coming around the corner. There's nobody to come around the corner for them. And that is devastating.
And it also happens the other way around, where young kids will become addicted and they'll get kicked out and they actually disappear. And then even when the family's looking for them, they can't find them anymore.
That's true too. I've had some very good parents looking for their kids.
We have a couple lines open, so give us a call at. Sorry, I know there's a cough button here, but I use it. 800-222-5222. Also get you a taxi in New York. 800-222-5222. Ty, how'd you get a happy ending out of this? That didn't sound right. How did you?
Oh, jeez.
That's going to be on Twitter now.
No, that's okay.
You're going to have to block that Twitter account,
Not at
Pat.
the end, it's. I have never felt better. I've never been more productive. You were talking about being open, and because I'm not skating as much, I'm trying different things, such as the talk show in Santa Barbara, which I love.
Well, tell us about that, because you do that.
That happened. I was being interviewed by the host, and as I was being interviewed, I kept, my mind just races, and I kept thinking I can add something to this man's show. I'm not sure what it is, but I can.
It's Ken Boxer, right?
Ken Boxer, KenBoxerLive.com, and so I pitched myself, as I pitch a lot here in LA, as a co-host, and the next day he said, "You're hired." So 2 days out of the week I get to spend in beautiful Santa Barbara. Lou Ferrigno, we're interviewing next week. I'm interviewing Randy. Kenny Loggins just said yes. Hot flash. Rafer Johnson.
Oh, Rafer's
Gonna
great.
be my favorite. Oh, I adore this.
I'm
man.
on the board of the Special Olympics with him. He's just a great man.
The best.
But these are success stories, and I love you for being out there and doing that.
Thank you. And I just it's believing in yourself, and like I said, for the first time, I'm proud of myself for something so great. I'm patting myself on the back, which I have never done. I have never given myself a break. I've learned that.
What is the schematic, Lauri, for bringing somebody in who was so broken, and to actually tell them that they can have dreams? I mean, to me, it seems like if you're that broken, you just say, I'm never going to have a dream, or I had a dream and it failed 100 times.
Correct,
and
right.
Who are you,
Right. Well, I think these kids have an attachment to me right off when they look at my story, when they see my mug shots.
They can trust you.
They can trust me. They know I've been through more group homes than most of them, and spent most of my time in juvenile hall. Yeah, so I've been through it, and a lot of the counselors there have been mommies that have been through bad situations, lost their kids in gang wars and all kinds of stuff. So they trust us like you wouldn't believe, and they see the kids that have been there longer than them making big changes in their life, and they meet the kids that were around like 7 years ago, coming to visit them now, so they get it. And we're taking 15% of the total LA homeless female population right now.
Wow.
15%.
And quickly, Andrew, how important is that fraternity that we all have in recovery? You hear other people's stories, and there's always somebody worse off than you are.
I think especially with alcohol and drugs, there's a certain paranoia that comes with the use of alcohol and drugs, and people are very afraid. And there is that concept of attraction, not promotion. And I think the reason that that's there in treatment is that it's important that people realize, oh, I didn't force you to come here. You came here because you were attracted to this idea of getting sober. And without that attraction, there's a paranoia that starts to exist in the mind that you're being manipulated, or that you're doing this for the other person or for the wrong reason. And it's really about regaining trust within yourself as well.
Right.
Ty, you writing a book? How honest is it going to be? Everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Everything.
that's what I did.
It's all or nothing.
Does Randy know this? Randy Gardner?
Yeah, and I think Randy will do his own book. We've done one together
Yeah, I know,
on the
yeah.
friendship, and he'll probably do one himself. But I have
I think
a
you
great
guys
literary
should talk
agent.
before that, so that's a good
What?
part of the book. You and Randy should sit down and
Have that
work out some of these
conversation.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of question marks.
One day you might not be able to have it. So,
That's true.
know?
That's true.
What if you get mad at him all of a sudden
that might be good.
About what?
about not telling you he had a leg injury?
I don't know. But I'm not. No. But see, everyone thought I was mad. That was the
Yeah.
first. That was always a question. Weren't you upset with him? And it's like, no, he was hurt.
Right.
It was out of his control.
All right, Ty, thanks for coming in. You look
Thank you
great.
for
I'm
having
so
me.
happy
Yeah, it's great
for
to see you
you.
again.
Thank you, and I'm so happy for you, Pat.
Thank you.
You're so inspiring.
Thank you, Ty. And
You are.
Lauri Burns. It's,
And Lauri too.
And
Thank
Lauri,
you.
her
Girl power.
Her event is
Ditto.
this November 15th, this weekend at Sunland Boulevard in Los Angeles. You can go on our Facebook.com/Clean Radio, and we'll put that on there. Thank you both.
Thank you
coming.
for having us
And
on.
Andrew, I've never seen you repeat on a T-shirt.
Well, I will tomorrow.
All right. That's our show today. Listen, the key thing to remember is that there's only one day you really have to worry about, and that's today. Yesterday's gone. All the money in the world can't buy yesterday back. And tomorrow hasn't happened yet. Until the sun rises in its glory or behind a cloud, there has been no tomorrow. So you live for today. Live for the moment. Try it. You'll like it. I'm Pat O'Brien. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for joining the KLEAN Radio channel. Be sure to subscribe and get weekly episodes and clips. And comment, like or dislike, whatever. Be nice. We respond to everything.
Are you addicted to drugs or alcohol but unable to commit to an inpatient rehab stay? Introducing KLEAN Treatment Center's Outpatient Treatment. This drug and alcohol treatment program is designed specifically for the working professional. Don't let your commitments of running a business, taking care of a child, or maintaining your college classes get in the way of your recovery from addiction. With daytime, evening, or individualized programs, KLEAN's Outpatient Treatment will fit your life. Call now for a free screening. Professional guidance is standing by.